Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. All right, so we're going to talk today about touring properties and collecting feedback. And we have a feedback form that we'll share with you guys in the resources to the recording that you can use. So you can now start organizing your feedback into one place. So today's roadmap, right? The overview of touring, collecting feedback, the challenge that we all face, how we can leverage AI. My favorite part, client experiences in the role of an agent, scheduling tours, integrating functional flow during showings, collecting feedback, putting it all together, and applied learnings essentially is what you need to do next. All right, so I'm a big believer of the saying, how it starts is how it goes, right? And that really goes to scheduling tours is a big part of the client experience, right? If your clients are randomly sending you links, there is a part in the buyer consultation and how you partner together that you missed. Does anyone still get random links from their clients? Right, so the question is, if they're finding random links that's outside of your collection, that's nothing you can control. But what you can control is them just sending you a link, adding it onto the collection, and then putting the comments in there, so on and so forth, right? Now, scheduling should feel like you're going to the Four Seasons. I remember my partner and I, it was 2 summers ago, we stayed at the Ritz-Carlton in the Maldives. And when we went there, we had all these activities and everything planned. And I remember going to our room and there being like this little binder in there. And the binder had all the different restaurants, it had all the different times, it had all the different activities, how you schedule them, and a day-by-day itinerary broke down. And in the areas that we did not have anything to do, suggested activities. Now, how many places do you go that actually take that much time and thought into making your experience is as meaningful as possible? Now, feedback is a key component of the client's experience. Whose job is it to remember all the feedback from the properties, where you went, when you went, what they're interested in? Is it our job or their job? Our job, right? Now, here's the question. If we surveyed 100 buyer's agents, how many of them would actually say that they have all of this information organized in one place at any time they can access it? I'm being generous in my summary of this, less than half. They don't have technology, they don't have a system, and they're not organized, right? So this also is a major opportunity and low-hanging fruit for you to reinforce your value proposition, right? Doesn't every buyer today believe one of three things? One, do they believe they can do it on their own? Yes. Two, they believe they can just contact the listing agent. Number three, what additional value does the agent actually provide? Because I can find my own properties. Because in the end of the day, when we say stupid things like, I have your best interest at heart, well, that implies that I don't have my best interest at heart. I'm your advocate. Well, yeah, children that can't speak for themselves have advocate in court, right? Like, none of these things make sense. A more effective way is look, anyone can find properties, right? Like, I would literally, if I had a script, I would nip this in the bud. I'd say, Cherish, anyone can find properties. Now, where we can provide you some unique aspects to your experiences. One, we can find off-market properties. Two, it is our job to organize the entire transactions from showings, the way that they're communicated, to organizing your feedback, providing clarity on next steps and additional information, strategy during the offer and negotiation process, and ultimately curating that timeline from the time you go into contract to close. So moving does not feel like it's a 1 day or 1 week thing. Doesn't that sound very different than I have your best interest at heart? But this is actually what you do. But again, it goes back to words and communications, right? So here's the challenge with touring and feedback. It involves in-depth listening and taking notes. Well, There's three forms of listening, as we always say: listening to listen, listening to respond, listening to take notes. And if you're listening and doing more than one at once, you're not really listening at all. And that's where technology like Applaud Note comes in, right? The other one is conversations, or there's my typo because I can't spell happy, are happening through multiple channels. The way that we communicate with our clients are through emails, texts, and phone calls, correct? Well, we need to be leaders, right? First rule of sales: establish authority and control. All of our feedback and all of our communications related to properties must be through collections. And can I share with you the unique benefit? Do you see how I frame that conversation, right? Framing. All of our communications related to properties must go through your Compass collection. Can I share with you the unique benefit? And they're going to say, yeah, what's a unique benefit to me, Chirag? I'm going to say, would you agree that purchasing a home is probably one of the largest, if not largest, financial decisions you make in your life? Yes, of course. That's why you can understand how important it is to keep anything related to a home that you're considering investing that much capital into one place. Because the home you see today that you might not want, might realize 20 homes later, 10 homes later, might be the home of the future. And we need to be able to put the information in one place so it's organized and you can go back to it anytime, anywhere, any device, right? Compass One. So when you're out with a client, it's not always easy to capture the details of each home and get feedback. Because when you're going through the house, you're talking about their functional flow and other things like that. And here's the thing: if you're taking and asking guided questions and you're recording it in all of this, do you think if you put it into the ChatGPT project, it'll help influence your search, your decisions, the comments you make, right? 100%. You could train a project on saying, here's their functional flow, here's their property feedback. How would I write comments through everything you know about them about this listing? And they'll literally write the comments for you. And if you put in the prompts and you've done your digital twin, it'll write it in your voice. The other one is we don't have any structured system. So if we don't have a system, how can we train somebody on a system? You can hire a virtual assistant and say, well, I need systems. And well, yeah, great. Your virtual assistant is not the person to make the system to work for you. It's you, right? So this system we're sharing today of functional flow, integrated work processes, using your Plod node, ChatGPT projects, this is an actual system that will have predictable outcomes. Now, if you look at Compass One for buyers, right? You have your off-market properties, you have interactive search, which is collections. Any properties that you write an offer on, all of those CMAs are there. Their favorite homes are easily accessible. Property tours, I think, are one of the most underrated things in here, Keith, because if you don't work at Compass, where else do all your tours get stored? They're stored through people's email address and random Google Docs because people don't have this technology. Documents and resources, you can put anything in there, right? You can put your home buying process. You can put their buyer consultation agreement. If there's PDFs and things you get about properties they like, don't email them to them, put them in their Compass One portal, because again, you're training them through authority and control that this is where you go for all information. If you break the system or you break the line, then people are going to cross the line. If you hold the line and this is how we work and this is why it's better for you, and you follow that line, your life becomes easier. Your clients have a better experience, right? And it offers real-time collaboration. You can assign them tasks. They can see what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Now, if you think about this, here's just like the simple client-facing views, right? Like you can take this and share it with them, but this helps them understand kind of like a guide or a key as to what all these things mean. Because we understand what they mean, we understand what the acronyms mean, but they don't. Leveraging AI, get Applaud Note. We all know what it is. It's an AI voice recording device. And what it really does, it allows you to be present and organizes notes and follow-ups in minutes. Now, if you took 5 different plods for 5 different properties and you stuck them into ChatGPT and you said, write me a follow-up email that includes blank, 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 and blank, you're done. You don't even have to think. and it's going to be so personalized, so detail oriented. Eventually you'll get your own prompt right to do this, and then you just run it over and over and over again. Is anyone using their Plod Note for showings right now? Kristen, unmute yourself.
Hey,
How has this changed the way that you work with buyers?
um, well, I'll say that it allows me to recall everything that they say because buyers say a lot during showing. So that's the biggest thing is that it gives me a point of reference and I don't have to physically take notes while I'm showing. So like I guess it's made it more efficient. I guess that would be the answer. It's made it more efficient for me. Um, I do catch things that I probably wouldn't even catch if I were trying to take notes, if that makes sense. And it's just little random, little comments or, just random things about a property that I may not view as important while we're going and touring during the day. But if I go back and review, it may stand out to me. So I think overall, just more efficient.
So the next step for anyone that's where Kristen is now taking this and putting it in the buyer project. Right? That's the next most important thing. Because you got to realize, like, if you think about it, your buyer project is like a file cabinet that has all the files of the buyer, right? And we're training it to say, hey, refer to the files as the knowledge base for any of your information, right? So you could type into a project in that main prompt section based on everything in the files. What are the things that are my major blind spots in working with the client? And what are they telling me by analyzing all of the files that I would not pick up or they haven't shared directly? If you stick that prompt in, you're going to be like, whoa. Right? And everyone make a note in this, no matter what you do in ChatGPT, once you think it's complete, right? What are the blind spots? And that will give you a whole list of different things to look at. So look, our role, to be clear, is to organize the home buying experience. It's to leverage Compass One and put everything in a central location. We want to create ease and simplicity through organization. Think about this. If Kristen's clients have everything in one place, their notes, their showing feedback form that we'll share with you, and you organize those notes, like I would take say you saw 5 properties, Kristen, I put all those plots into ChatGPT. I would say summarize this into notes that I could send my clients so they can remember every property, their feedback, their thoughts, their concerns. And then you add those notes from tour, from the date, and then match the way that the tour description is in Compass One, however they label the tour, use that as a label document so it mirrors. Oh, if you want information from this day, it's here. And it's labeled this way, right? And look, the biggest thing is this makes the client experience feel like it's in alignment with their investment. Think about it. If you went to the Ritz-Carlton for a week and you spent $15,000, what would be your expectations? Now, for any of you travel enthusiasts, in the Ritz-Carlton, not Ritz-Carlton, in the Conrad Maldives, which is a Hilton resort. So if you have a lot of points, I don't know, this will cost you like a gazillion, but they actually just built the first of its kind underwater villa. So this thing sits underwater. You go up, there's a deck, there's the stairs, you can jump into the ocean, but inside your villa, it's underwater. You can see fish swimming around. It's insane. It costs like $15,000 to $20,000 a night. If you spent that much money, what the heck would you expect, right? So what I always encourage people to is think, if you were spending this much money on travel, what would be your experience? What would be your expectations of the resort, the experience, the service, the customer service, the communication, the planning, the execution? Take all of your expectations and now say, okay, great. Now, how do I do this when I work with a buyer? You can go into ChatGPT and say, how would the Four Seasons hotel that costs $20,000 a night do these categories? Now I need you to ask me questions one by one so I can mirror that process when I work with my clients that are buyers. That's the prompt to use. And you'll get some crazy wild ideas and results. Because let's be honest, if the Four Seasons put out a real estate division and had a real estate agent and it was their concierge, how buttoned up would that experience be? They'd get into the car. They would sit in the back of the car. There'd be two extra large iPads. The property tours would be loaded. There'd be 2 bottles of water there. There'd be a bag there that had everyone's favorite snacks based on preferences. They'd drive you to the locations. They'd say, hey, we're capturing all the notes and we'll put the specific notes of the property in each collections, provide you a summary note where here you can see how the tour is labeled in here. It'll be here in the document sessions, like this example one that we have here of a fake tour and a fake property. So they can see what it is. Then you can delete it, right? Then the next thing that they would do is they would send you the most organized follow-up email. Kristen, you saw these 5 properties. Here's a link to all your notes and feedback. You mentioned you wanted 3 additional things. Is it okay if I get these to you by tomorrow by 12 p.m.? By 11 a.m., because they always over deliver, they'll send it to you at 11 o'clock, an hour before you expect it. And then at 12 o'clock, when you're expecting it, they will follow up with you and say, hey, wanted to see if you had a chance to read the information. If you have, great. Are there any things that you have questions on, or is there anything additional you need? Or we could always schedule a time later to talk. Let us know what works best for you. Now, given I just made all of that up, right? But that's how it should work. I see some interesting comments in the chat. My husband's sitting next to me listening to you speaking about the Ritz and the Conrad. He's loving your coaching. Tell him I say thank you and join more often. Oh, Kristen, now that's a compliment. If the Google smart people like it, then it's legit, right? Look, we want to be able to earn more, charge more, and deliver more. The better your experience is, the more money people will pay for it. The clearer you can communicate that they understand what they're getting, the more money they'll pay for it. The only reason that people have no idea what agents do is because there's no system built for it and you weren't trained on it. So it's really not your fault. But now that you know all these things, if you choose not to do them, then it is your fault. Scheduling tours. Use Compass Tours, create the calendar invite, remove all the agent information, share the link with the tour with the client, also send them a calendar invite, and send them a recap email if you choose. I prefer, even if you did like the calendar and the other one, I'd say, think about the Four Seasons. I'd say, dear Kristen, our property tour is confirmed Saturday at 10 a.m. So this is the exact email template to use. So Kristen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Our property tour is scheduled for September 30th, Saturday at 3 p.m. We'll be seeing a total of 5 properties. Below, I've outlined the properties that we're going to. You'll see a link here that you can reference the entire tour and how much time we're spending in each home. If there's any home that is of further interest to you on this list, please send it to me by Thursday, September 29th at 12 p.m. so I can add it and adjust our tours, tour accordingly. Lastly, if there's any property in here that has high interest or high value to you over the others that you want to spend additional time in outside of what's allocated, please let me know by Thursday at 12 p.m. and I can adjust the schedule accordingly. If you need anything else, remember my personal cell is whatever your cell phone is, just write personal cell. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday, September 1st at 2 p.m. Is that very different than what most people do? I'm hoping you all say no, and you guys all say, yeah, I do this all the time, Chirag. But this is what you should do. And by the way, these are all things that VA can do, right? So if you don't have a VA and you're thinking about it, many of you on this call have all talking to our dear colleague, Charlie. He's great, and you should all reach out to him because he'll help you get a VA. Now, integrating functional flow. Use the showing as a place to integrate the client's functional flow, which is really asking them the experiences they're looking to have and how they see the home aligns with their goals. The more you can get them talking about how they're going to live in a home, the faster you'll see if this is the right home, the faster you can see if it's the wrong home, right? If they talked about amazing family gatherings in a kitchen that has double doors that flow out to the backyard, I'd say, Kristen, you had mentioned about having these epic Thanksgiving parties where it's warm in California, where you see everyone gathered around the kitchen in the backyard. How do you see that experience playing in this home? And they may or may not, but based on that, you'll see their facial and nonverbal communication and their physiology. Somebody that loves it, their shoulders will go back, their face will get, oh my God, we can do this here. My partner, she says this all the time. She goes, it's amazing how excited you get about things that have not happened. I was like, I know, but we're going to go there and it's going to happen, right? So I'm like already excited, right? But that's how human psychology works. So collecting feedback, right? Be clear with yourself first what you're collecting feedback on. I always tell this story. First time showing a property, young, naive, logic-driven 23-year-old Chirag. Can you share with us feedback? Feedback on what? Feedback. I said, I'm really sorry. This is the first house I've ever shown. Like, how does this work? Oh, every agent goes and gives feedback. Well, that was a lie, right? And I'm like, yes, but what does feedback even mean? I don't understand. What do you want me to tell you? She goes, oh, honey, you haven't been doing this that long. You give feedback. I said, that's great. It's vague at best. And so I went back and forth with her. Then I asked her this, and like if she was agitated with me not knowing what feedback was, when I said this to her, she was even more pissed. I could hear it in her voice and how short she got. I go, can I ask you a question? And I'm new to this, so please bear with me. And she goes, sure. What is it? I go, why would I take my time and time away from my clients to give you feedback to get your clients home sold that my clients came to me to buy a house, not help everyone else sell theirs? Boy, was she pissed. I didn't know that that's the most logical way to think about it, right? So I would be very, very careful in calling your clients like, hey, Shrug, do you have feedback on those 4 homes we've seen? If somebody called me and asked me this, I'd be pissed. I'm like, you're going to waste my day to help other people. Aren't you supposed to help me? Go find me a house, right? At the end of the property, you can ask a series of questions, right? So this way you can organize the system. Do you feel this house met the needs of your functional flow? What did you love most about this house? Is there anything that was a deal breaker in this house? And ultimately, is this a house you'd ever consider like living in? Not making an offer on, living in. You organize it all into a Google Doc, you share it in a form, a follow-up email, and you store the document into Compass One. So order a plot note if you haven't have. Create the client experience for yourself first, right? Record the note, use it yourself. If I were you, I'd be role-playing this with other agents in your office, like go to their listing, have them come to yours, or go to a vacant property and create a system of tours, confirmation emails, and follow-ups. And so once you go through the whole client experience, you can feel comfortable and confident in the process, make the adjustments based on real world experiences. And Cherish, I'm going to get to you a few minutes early.
Hey, I have a question. So did I hear correctly when saw somewhere that in our plot note, we can also upload our disclosures?
No, you can upload the disclosures into Compass One.
That, of course. Okay. I was just, that's why I wanted the clarification. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else have any questions?
I gotta go.
Going once, going twice. All right, please make Cherish the co-host. With love in my heart, I love you all. I hope you guys can take this. This is an easy win, I would say, for many of us. You just need to know how to use a plot note. And there's so many good YouTube videos on this, right? So, and if you're having a challenge, find somebody else and practice with each other, recording the conversations and everything via phone, via computer, and you'll be good to go. All right, Cherish, your co-host. Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Chirag. Thank you.